I lost track of what was happening in this game, like, almost immediately.
It's okay.
We're back.
BLTs.
BLT? Book
What
Talk
do we
Learn?
got this week? Who wants to go next, though?
I'll go.
Oh my
I knew
God.
it. I knew
Bringing
it.
back the squirrel hunters.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Christine and I were the ultimate chess champions of our local scene. But this has nothing to do with that. This has to do with this great book. Anyways, Finish Line, Opening Moves. This presentation is going to be my attempt to describe each of the characters in terms of what chess opening most represents them, stylistically, personally.
That's so cool.
So yeah, I'll use some of my chess knowledge to kind of share some of the way some of these openings work and the styles of games that might occur. So first up, we have Cecilia. Obviously, she is the Queen's Gambit. The Queen's Gambit, is got very popular because of the TV show, but it's actually like one of the most like well accomplished openings. Much like Cecilia, very well accomplished, strong woman, is able to do all kinds of things in her life. The Queen's Gambit can give you very balanced and controlled games because you're moving the Queen's pawn forward, so it's well defended by the Queen. She's always looking out for her pieces. And these are the types of games, they can go like a little mid-range to long time. It requires time for these plans to reach their full potential. Much like Cecilia, she took 3 full books for her ultimate plan to come to its final conclusion. Here we have a famous game of Fischer-Spassky, which I believe is from the World Championships in the 70s. And you'll see very quickly here, Spassky or Fischer or Cecilia is going to just take over and win the game here.
I lost track of what was happening in this game, like, almost immediately.
It's okay. This is Fischer just taking it home for America here. Pretty much resignation comes up. Next up, we have Dominic. Dominic obviously is the King's Gambit. Dominic King is the King's Gambit. This is an extraordinarily aggressive opening where you're basically giving up one of your kingside pawns immediately. It requires you. It's not used very often, but if you will read a lot of the old books from like the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, like Dominic, he loves to read. So if you read some of these old books, you can get some of the strategy for here. These can be really quick, aggressive games that can end very quickly, but it requires a lot of sacrifice. You'll see here, Dom gives up his queen, but mates on the next move. R.I.P. Dom.
He gives up his queen.
Sean will give the birds opening because he becomes like the new leader, like the new head of the Ravenhood. This is kind of like an opening twist. This is another one where you're giving up one of your kingside pawns, opening yourself up for attack. You'll see this by people who are in clubs a lot, and they'll do very well. Kind of like how Sean, he's like in his like Raven club, and this is like a very aggressive opening, but it leaves you open to getting counterattacked pretty well. This is a game between Tarash and 4 other people, and he was able to successfully use the bird's opening to take down all 4 of them at the same time. Tobias, obviously, we give him the French defense. This is a very slow positional place game, type of game. Players who play white hate seeing the French defense because the moment you play just like your pawn forward just to e6 instead of going for like a big attack, you're like, oh my gosh, this game is going to take forever. This is a slow, positional, drawn-out attack type of game. Basically, it's all about waiting for your opponent to make the mistake, and much like Tobias at the end of the book, you just punch your opponent in the end with your pieces once they make a mistake.
Punch them in the teeth with your pieces? Is that in your chess book?
That's what happens in the book. That's what Tobias punches Antoine.
Shit, yeah.
When he takes his chess, he has all these chess pieces at the very end. I did read this part. He just punches him in the face and makes him like swallow the pawn or whatever. So that's some of the characters. Well, let's move on to you guys. Christine, I give you the London system. This is an extraordinarily reliable type of game. It's a very systematic type of game. For like the first 10 moves, you don't need to know the theory so much as you just know where the pieces go. You set yourself up, very strong, unbreakable attack. But then there's some tricks, just a little bit of tricks, a little bit of mischief. This is a game between Kamsky and Shanklin where Kamsky set up like this big like London fortress and then just completely annihilated the right side of the board. Checkmates right here.
I didn't know that's how you think of me. Solid and unbreakable, but a high possibility of tricks and mischief.
Yes.
I think it's a good description.
Katie gets the fried liver attack. This is a very fun one, and this is actually my opening of choice when I play. But this one I think describes you best. This is very wild attack, very exciting games. You draw out the opponent's king, you're giving up pieces, and you're attacking with your queen. It's all about the queen in this one. Yeah, you're throwing pieces around, and it's all about chasing the other king around, making him look silly. Here you'll see Paul Morphy, who was, I guess champions didn't exist around this time, but this is Paul Morphy, who was probably thought of as the best player in the world, beating his father with a castle at the very end. Very cool, very stylistic move. Interestingly enough, Alonzo Morphy, his father, was the Attorney General of Louisiana while this game was happening. And Paul beat his father with, if you'll notice, he's missing a rook on his left side too. So this is extremely potent type of attack. And for Clayton, we saved the best for last, the Bong Cloud opening. The most truly unbeatable opening of all time. You move your pawn forward, followed by the king, and you dare your opponent to come at you. This is a very unorthodox type of game. You strike fear to your enemies. This is, no one can prepare for this. The game we're watching here is between the world champion Magnus Carlsen versus the American #1 Hikaru Nakamura, where they played a bullet game in a tournament. Carlsen moved his king forward, what
is going on here?
trying to intimidate Hikaru.
What?
Are they just going back and forth? What is happening?
Nakamura responds with the never-before-seen double Bong Cloud opening, where he too brings his king forward. Carlsen is intimidated, pulls his king back. Hikaru also retreats. And as this is clearly the best move, they just repeat back and forth, resulting in a threefold repetition and a draw. Some think the two most powerful chess players in the world intimidated each other into a draw with this most powerful opening.
Now,
So
were they
yes.
ripping the ball when they
Wait,
did
is that
this?
a real story?
Yes, that's real.
I don't understand.
Your move. That was awesome, Michael.
That was awesome. Thank you, Michael. That was
great.
All right. Well, this was good, guys.
This has been the Bookends. Bye, bye,
Yeah, we just didn't end it. We just didn't end it.
Bye. Like,
See
comment,
ya.
subscribe.